Hey there, it's a new day and abundance is here. My name is Bisola Maria and welcome to another episode in the Childhood Trauma and Narcissistic Abuse series. And today we're talking about sexual abuse. Sexual abuse. Now, I must tell you my personal story at this point. When I was younger, as a child who lived with a mother, I lived with my mom for most part of my childhood. And in between, if I wasn't living with my mother, I was living with an extended family member. So the pattern of sexual abuse that I experienced wasn't just from living with my mother, but also from living with extended family members. So I remember that three occasions that I cannot forget, or four, among many others, are one, when I was living with when my mother got married to another man, I was living with her. But because my mother always traveled and was not always available, there was this male neighbor who told me to come help him, bring something into the apartment, and then he was abusing me sexually. I also remember that I could not tell my mother, I didn't tell anybody, and when I became older and a grown woman, I remember her talking about it and how she didn't even think it was so much of a hassle. Now, that was one experience. I also remember that at a point, my stepfather had male children who always came to visit. So these children who came to visit, or my stepbrothers would sexually abuse me as well. Now, I also remember that there was a female cousin of mine who also sexually abused me. Now, remember I said a female cousin of mine who sexually abused me. Later on in my teenage years, since my body was used to being touched and enjoying it, the sensation that comes from being sexually abused, you would enjoy it. Let's be truthful. Let's be very practical here. And so there was this young lady who was living, who came to visit a family member where we were living. She also, got me to stay in her bed and asked me to touch her this way. I stimulated her, she stimulated me, we were enjoying it. And so my system was kind of used to being touched, was used to getting aroused, right? And these are the different experiences of sexual abuse that I experienced from a child to a young adult, to a teenager, to being a young adult. Now, when I met my partner, we did not even have a relationship when we started. It started like the pattern that I was used to from childhood, even though it did not come in the disguise of sexual abuse. As a matter of fact, when I think about it now, that is what it was. It was a sexually abusive situation that then turned into what I thought was going to be birth a relationship. And of course, only báwo làwọn Yorùbá ṣe máa ń pòwe pé you can only, like, if you cannot expect a good child to come out of a demon. I don't know how to express that and don't know how best to say that or how else to say that. What I'm just saying in essence is sexual abuse, if it is a pattern you've been used to from childhood, you will normalize it. And even if you're falling into a sexually abusive context, you may normalize it and think it is a relationship. And so get clear. And so I will talk more about how to understand what a relationship is and what is not, and how to see and identify the red flags. But today I have just talked to you about what sexual abuse is. And one of the things that I want you to understand is if you've been physically abused, at any point in life, or you've been emotionally abused and you've always felt that your voice does not matter, you would shut down and normalize. You would become a people pleaser by default. And because you've always learned to do things that does not feel good, or that you naturally would not want to do, just because you've always been mindful or conscious of the feelings of other people, your psychology, you're psychologically trained, even without knowing it, to get to feel that if you don't make people feel somehow or feel good, okay, they will not like you or accept you. And that is what you learn from being sexually abused. And I want you to understand that if this is something you are dealing with right now, you can get help. You can seek help. You can reach out. If this is something you've experienced in the past and it is then become an addiction, you can break free. There is victory when you know the problem, when you know the source of your struggles. And there is victory when you then decide to get help. Now, there's something I also want to tell you. When you are around people who enjoy or derive pleasure from hearing you talk about these traumatic experiences, you need to be careful. I remember in my previous relationship with the person I was committed to for about 10 years, I remember when I think for me, I'll say that when we, in quote and unquote, are making love, this person will make me recount all of these traumatic experiences to arouse them sexually. I'm just helping you understand that if you are dating someone or you're committed to somebody that would make you say these terrible things, that will make you go that memory lane, that will make you recount these traumatic experiences just for them to be sexually pleasured or aroused, those people are demonic. You don't need those kind of people in your life. And you must begin to understand that you should not make people feel good by recounting your traumatic experiences, or your trauma should not be the source of pleasure for some other people. Understand that. And today I've talked to you about sexual abuse, and I'm super pumped up to do more because today is day 5, and we have 55 more days to go in this series. If you found this really useful, please leave a comment somewhere below. And more importantly, I need your help as I launch my book, as I make my book available to thousands and millions and trillions or billions of people across the world. And the way to support me is by donating. Simply go to becomingbm.com. Simply go to bisolamiriam.com/becomingbm. As I celebrate my birthday this year, my plan is to reach people with copies of my books for free. And I need your help. I need your donations to make this a reality. Abundance is here. There is absolutely no lack. Talk soon, and God bless you. Stay happy.